Key legal and practical information for living in the UK. Fundamental principles. The UK has a long history of respecting individual rights and essential freedoms. Key documents that have shaped these principles include Magna Carta, the Habeas Corpus Act, and the Bill of Rights of 1689. The UK played a significant role in drafting the European Convention on Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, which it signed in 1950. The Human Rights Act 1998 incorporated the European Convention into UK law, obligating the government, public bodies, and the courts to follow its principles. Equal opportunities. UK laws prohibit unfair treatment based on age, disability, sex, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion or belief, sexuality, or marital status. Discrimination issues can be addressed with the help of organisations like the Equality and Human Rights Commission and the Citizens Advice Bureau. Domestic violence. Domestic violence is a serious crime in the UK, and perpetrators can be prosecuted regardless of their gender or marital status. Assistance is available for individuals facing domestic violence, including safe places like refuges or shelters. There is a 24-hour national domestic violence free phone helpline for support. Female genital mutilation, FGM, is illegal in the UK, and practicing or taking someone abroad for FGM is a criminal offence. Forced marriage. Forced marriage is a criminal offence, and a marriage should be entered into with the full and free consent of both parties. Forced marriage protection orders can be obtained to protect individuals from forced marriages, and breaches of such orders can lead to imprisonment. Taxation. Income tax is levied on various forms of income, including wages, self-employment profits, benefits, pensions, and property-related income. National insurance contributions are mandatory for most individuals and fund state benefits and services like the state pension and the National Health Service, NHS. A national insurance number is necessary for work and financial record keeping. Driving in the UK requires a driving licence obtained through passing a test, and vehicles must be registered, taxed, insured, and meet MOT requirements. Fundamental principles. Britain has a long history of respecting an individual's rights and ensuring essential freedoms. These rights have their roots in Magna Carta, the Habeas Corpus Act and the Bill of Rights of 1689, and they have developed over a period of time. British diplomats and lawyers had an important role in drafting the European Convention on Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms. The UK was one of the first countries to sign the convention in 1950. Some of the principles included in the European Convention on Human Rights are: right to life, prohibition of torture, prohibition of slavery and forced labour, right to liberty and security, right to a fair trial, freedom of thought, conscience and religion, freedom of expression, speech. The Human Rights Act 1998 incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. The government, public bodies, and the courts must follow the principles of the Convention. Equal opportunities. UK laws ensure that people are not treated unfairly in any area of life or work because of their age, disability, sex, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion or belief, sexuality or marital status. If you face problems with discrimination, you can get more information from the Citizens Advice Bureau or from one of the following organisations: England and Wales, Equality and Human Rights Commission. Scotland, Equality and Human Rights Commission in Scotland and Scottish Human Rights Commission. Northern Ireland, Equality Commission for Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland Human Rights Commission. Domestic violence. In the UK, brutality and violence in the home is a serious crime. Anyone who is violent towards their partner, whether they are a man or woman, married or living together, can be prosecuted. Any man who forces a woman to have sex, including a woman's husband, can be charged with rape. It is important for anyone facing domestic violence to get help as soon as possible. A solicitor or the Citizens Advice Bureau can explain the available options. In some areas there are safe places to go and stay in, called refuges or shelters. There are emergency telephone numbers in the helpline section at the front of yellow pages, including, for women, the number of the nearest women's center. You can also phone the 24-hour National Domestic Violence Free Phone helpline at any time, or the police can help you find a safe place to stay. Female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation, FGM, also known as cutting or female circumcision, is illegal in the UK. Practicing FGM or taking a girl or woman abroad for FGM is a criminal offence. Forced marriage. A marriage should be entered into with the full and free consent of both people involved. Arranged marriages, where both parties agree to the marriage, are acceptable in the UK. Forced marriage is where one or both parties do not or cannot give their consent to enter into the partnership. Forcing another person to marry is a criminal offence. Forced marriage protection orders were introduced in 2008 for England, Wales, and Northern Ireland under the Forced Marriage, Civil Protection Act 2007. Court orders can be obtained to protect a person from being forced into a marriage, or to protect a person in a forced marriage. Similar protection orders were introduced in Scotland in November 2011. A potential victim, or someone acting for them, can apply for an order. Anyone found to have breached an order can be jailed for up to 2 years for contempt of court. Taxation. Income tax. People in the UK have to pay tax on their income, which includes wages from paid employment, profits from self-employment, taxable benefits, pensions, income from property, savings and dividends. Money raised from income tax pays for government services such as roads, education, police and the armed forces. For most people, the right amount of income tax is automatically taken from their income from employment by their employer and paid directly to HM Revenue and Customs, HMRC, the government department that collects taxes. This system is called pay-as-you-earn, pay. If you are self-employed, you need to pay your own tax through a system called self-assessment, which includes completing a tax return. Other people may also need to complete a tax return. If HMRC sends you a tax return, it is important to complete and return the form as soon as you have all the necessary information. You can find out more about income tax at HMRC website. You can get help and advice about taxes and completing tax forms from the HMRC Self-Assessment Helpline and the HMRC website. National insurance. Almost everybody in the UK who is in paid work, including self-employed people, must pay national insurance contributions. The money raised from national insurance contributions is used to pay for state benefits and services such as the State Retirement Pension and the National Health Service, NHS. Employees have their national insurance contributions deducted from their pay by their employer. People who are self-employed need to pay national insurance contributions themselves. Anyone who does not pay enough national insurance contributions will not be able to receive certain contributory benefits such as job seekers allowance or a full state retirement pension. Some workers, such as part-time workers, may not qualify for statutory payments such as maternity pay if they do not earn enough. Getting a national insurance number. A national insurance number is a unique personal account number. It makes sure that the national insurance contributions and tax you pay are properly recorded against your name. All young people in the UK are sent a national insurance number just before their 16th birthday. A non-UK national living in the UK and looking for work, starting work or setting up as self-employed will need a national insurance number. However, you can start work without one. If you have permission to work in the UK, you will need to apply a NI number through government website. You will usually need documents that prove your identity and that you have permission to work in the UK. A national insurance number does not on its own prove to an employer that you have the right to work in the UK. Driving. In the UK, you must be at least 17 years old to drive a car or motorcycle, and you must have a driving license to drive on public roads. To get a UK driving license, you must pass a driving test, which tests both your knowledge and your practical skills. You need to be at least 16 years old to ride a moped, and there are other age requirements and special tests for driving large vehicles. Drivers can use their driving license until they are 70 years old. After that, the license is valid for 3 years at a time. In Northern Ireland, a newly qualified driver must display an ARC place for restricted driver for 1 year after passing the test.